Thank you, Jeannie. As well as obviously creating deep dives myself, I do like to watch them as well. Need some motivation with your taps, so I'm going to have to get a better song. This will be all you need. Nah, I can't do that to you. I can't do it to you. I can't. Fucking hell, actually we hit 15k pretty quick. I'm going to pull the Scatman out more often. That sounds like a guy into shit. Alright. Oh, and it is Mother's Day, so I'd just like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the fucking MILFs watching. I appreciate you more than you know. Right, let's get into it. So we are watching a video called All UK Serial Killers Currently in Prison. Let's see how it goes.
Case number 1. On the afternoon of March 21st, 2002, 13-year-old Millie Dowler left Heathside School in Weybridge, Surrey, and walked to the railway station with a friend. The two girls took the train one stop earlier than usual, getting off at Walton-on-Thames instead of Hersham, because Millie wanted to grab something to eat at a small cafe near the station. At 3:47 in the afternoon, she called her father on her mobile phone and told him she would be home in about half an hour. At 4:05, the girls left the cafe and went their separate ways. A friend of Millie's older sister Gemma was standing at a bus stop nearby. She saw Millie walking alone.
Yeah, it's a really sad case, isn't it, CJ?
Down Station.
I think anything, obviously, to do with kids, especially pulls on our heartstrings, doesn't it?
Avenue. That was the last time anyone saw Millie Dowler alive. Further down the road, a closed-circuit television camera was recording, but it never captured an image of Millie walking past.
Sure.
It did, however, record a red Daewoo Nexia driving through at 4:32 that afternoon. That car belonged to the girlfriend of a man named Levi Belfield, who lived in a flat at 24.
I did a deep dive on this case, it's on my YouTube. I've not done many true crime deep dives, but I did cover this one. It's fucking horrific.
Collingwood Place, roughly 200 yards from the spot where Millie was last seen. By the time the sun went down that evening, Millie's parents had reported her missing, and a search involving over 100 police officers, helicopters, and appeals across every national news outlet began. None of it would bring her home. Levi Belfield was born Levi Roberts on May 17, 1968, at the West Middlesex Hospital in Isleworth, Greater London. He was of Romani descent. His father, Joseph, died from leukemia when Belfield was 10 years old. After that, Belfield was raised by his mother Jean on a council estate in southwest London, alongside his two brothers and two sisters. He attended Feltham Comprehensive School. By the age of 13, he had his first criminal conviction for burglary. By 2002, he had racked up 9 convictions in total, including a...
Jesus Christ. There's always signs, isn't it? There's always like stepping stone sort of thing.
Assault of a police officer in 1990, theft and driving offences. He had spent close to a year behind bars across those sentences. As an adult, Belfield worked as a nightclub bouncer and ran a wheel clamping business in and around West Drayton, West London. He fathered 11 children with
wheel clamping business. Was it, Karma?
5 different women. To the outside world, he came across as charming and jokey at first. Detective Chief Inspector Colin Sutton, the man who would eventually lead the investigation into Belfield's crime,
I wonder how old he is now.
Later described how Belfield could switch from being friendly to being terrifying in an instant. His ex-girlfriends, once tracked down by police, painted a much darker picture. Every single one of them described the same pattern. Belfield would be warm,
57, 58, people are saying in the
and
chat.
Attentive at the start, and then he would become completely controlling and violent. One former partner said she found a magazine at his home with the faces of blonde models slashed out. He had a hatred of young blonde women.
God, Jesus. Fucking hell. I mean, the signs were there, weren't they? Right in the face.
He would target them for attacks if they rejected him or simply ignored his advances. That hatred would cost 3 young women their
He's 57 now. Have you done a quick Google?
lives and nearly take the life of a 4th. For 6 months after Millie vanished, her parents, Sally and Bob Dowler, lived in agony, sending text messages to her mobile phone, hoping for a reply that would never come. On September 18th, 2000...
It's kind of like incel behaviour, really, isn't it? Well, psychopathic behaviour.
Mushroom pickers walking through Yateley Heath Woods in Hampshire, roughly 25 miles from Walton-on-Thames, discovered human remains in the undergrowth. Dental records confirmed the remains as Millie's. Due to the severity of decomposition, the cause
That's terrible, that.
of death could not be determined. None of the clothes she was wearing that day, her purse, her rucksack, or her mobile phone were ever found.
Do you guys remember this case, chap?
The missing person case became a murder investigation. Surrey Police launched Operation Ruby. Officers carried out more than 3,000 house-to-house inquiries, took over 5,600 statements, and searched hundreds of sites. But for years, they had no suspect. The investigation stalled. Millie's killer walked free, while the Dowler family waited for answers that seemed like they might never come.
Couldn't imagine being in the position of the family. Do you know what I mean? It just must... I don't know how you recover from that as a parent, you know what I mean?
Meanwhile, Belfield kept attacking. On the
Oh, really, Spitfire?
evening of February 4th, 2003, 19-year-old Marsha McDonnell went to the cinema with friends to see the film Catch Me If You Can. Afterwards, she caught the number 111 bus from Kingston upon Thames. She got off at the stop on Percy Road in Hampton, southwest London. It was just after midnight. She was walking the final stretch to her family home on Priory Road, just yards from her front door, when someone came up behind her and struck her over the head with a blunt instrument.
Hey, Sigma. I investigate all this sort of stuff. Do you, Rob?
Likely a lump.
I think true crime is fascinating, really, because I think as I don't know if saying as a species is the right way to think, but I think as a species that a lot of us have the need or want to understand other people and how they work and why they work, you know what I mean? Why they work like this and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like what makes somebody be so cold and callous, etc. Guys, that suspension's been approved.
Hammer. A neighbour was woken
Got rid of.
by loud noises and went outside to find Marsha lying on the pavement in a pool of blood with severe head injuries. She was rushed to hospital, but the damage was catastrophic. She had suffered multiple skull fractures and bleeding on the brain.
Fucking hell.
2 days later, on February 5th, her family made the decision to turn off her life.
Yeah, exactly, Phoenix. I'll tell you what I was watching last night. What the hell did I watch on? I was watching on... is it more 4, the Channel 4 thing? I'm trying to find out what it is. Was it 4OD or some shit? It used to be called all sorts of stuff. But I watched... what was I watching? Oh, bloody hell. Why is it not say? It was something to do with true crime. It's not come up. On Channel 4, I think it was like investigating murders. Something like that. I don't know what it... Can't remember the name of the bloody thing. Maybe you guys will remember.
Life support. Marsha was 19 years old. She played the violin and guitar. She was planning a trip to Australia. Her parents had to explain to their 5-year-old son Jack what had happened to his big sister. 6 days after the murder, Belfield sold his Vauxhall Corsa for £1,500. He had bought it for £6,000 just 5 months earlier. On May 28, 2004, 18-year-old Kate Sheedy stepped off a bus in Isleworth after an evening out celebrating the end of her school exams at Gumley House Convent School. As she walked toward home, she noticed a white people carrier parked on a side road with its lights turned off and its engine revving. Something about it made
Oh, is that another good one, FYP?
her uneasy. She crossed to the other side of the street to avoid it. The car turned on its lights, drove down the road, made a U-turn, and accelerated straight at her. It ran over her body, crushing her torso. Then it reversed and ran over her a second time before
Jesus fucking Christ, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. This is what I watched. It's called Catching a Killer. That's it. And it's on Channel 4. I think there's only 4 episodes on here. The one I watched last night was The Search for Natalie Hemming. And I thought they did really well. I thought they handled the case really well, like sensitively, but it was insane. It was insane. I'm definitely going to watch the rest of it.
Speeding away. Kate suffered a ruptured liver, a collapsed lung, broken ribs, and a broken collarbone. Lying on the pavement, she managed to reach her mobile phone.
That's horrible.
And call her mother. She told her she had been run over, that she was on their road, and that she loved her. Kate's mother rushed outside and eventually found her daughter lying on the path, trying to crawl home. Kate Sheedy survived. The car she described was a white Toyota Previa with blacked-out windows and a broken wing mirror. Belfield owned a Toyota.
Like I say, I don't know how you recover from this. Do you know what I mean? How do you... Thank you, Sigma. I don't know how you recover from this moving forward.
Previa,
you know what I mean?
Matching that exact description at the time of the attack. Less than 3 months later, on August 9th...
Like, one person can affect so many fucking people for the rest of their life, you know? Hey, Jodie.
19th, 2004, 22-year-old Amélie Delagrange was walking across Twickenham Green in southwest London. Amélie Delagrange was a 22-year-old French student who had been living in Twickenham for about 3 months. Born on February 2nd, 1982, she was working at a patisserie in Richmond while studying English. She had come to England to improve her language skills and experience life in London. That evening, she had been out with friends and had missed her bus stop. CCTV cameras captured her walking toward the green. Somewhere between the last 2 sightings of her on camera, she may have stopped and spoken to someone. She was attacked shortly afterward, struck several times on the back of the head with a hammer. She was found on the green with serious head injuries and died in hospital that same night. She was 22 years old. Within 24 hours...
Yeah, I think to be a serial killer, do you have to kill 2 or more? Or is it more than 2? Because obviously this video is covering all UK serial killers.
Police established that her murder could be connected to the killing of Marsha McDonnell 18 months earlier. The similarities were too strong to ignore. Young women, attacked after dark, struck in the head with a blunt instrument in the same area of southwest London. The murder of Amélie Delagrange was the turning point in a case that had baffled investigators for years. Multiple attacks on young women across southwest London, near bus stops,
It's normally more than 2.
after dark, with a blunt instrument.
But Christ, I distracted myself as I always do. That one that I watched... Jesus Christ, thank you, Jeannie. Fucking hell. That one I watched on Channel 4 that I was just telling you about, that guy had domestically abused all of his fucking partners, and then his partner had then found love with somebody that they worked with, and she wanted to leave him, but she was scared. And then when she had one night out with this bloke, presumably the guy found out, and then he unalived her. But he would not tell the family where he'd buried her. He would not relinquish that control that he had over them, which was just fucking insane. And the way they covered it on that documentary was wild.
Had been terrorising the area, but police had struggled to find the link between them. DCI. Colin Sutton of the Metropolitan Police was assigned to lead the investigation into Amélie's murder. A mobile police unit was stationed at Twickenham Green to take statements. One woman came in and told officers that her ex-boyfriend, Levi Belfield, could be a potential suspect. His name was added to a list of 129 names gathered from women who believed their former partners might be involved. Detectives then cross-referenced that list against...
It's just crazy that there's that many suspects where they're like, I know somebody who acts like that. Fuck me. That's terrifying in itself.
White van owners. Belfield matched. From there, the investigation moved quickly. Officers pulled CCTV footage and began checking every vehicle connected to Belfield across the dates of the known attacks. In every case...
Thank you, Linda. You scared the shit out of all of us. Thank you.
Murder of Amélie Delagrange.
Guys, if you're watching and hanging out with us, just tap on that screen for us. Thank you.
The murder of Marsha McDonnell and the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy
Well, I think a life sentence is a fucking joke, innit, in the UK. What's a life sentence? 25 years. And then, pardon me, then they can go up for parole.
Belfield owned cars that could be placed near the crime scenes. Before his arrest, police placed him under surveillance. Within days, they observed him driving around in his van, pulling over to talk to young girls at bus stops. Belfield was arrested in the early hours of November 22nd, 2004, on suspicion of the murder of Amélie Delagrange. When officers arrived at his girlfriend's home in West Drayton, they found him hiding naked in the loft.
Would you say Belfield got a whole life order? Yeah, whole life order. I don't understand why people just don't get whole life orders for murder. You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't that be the case for every fucker who's done something like that?
The charges mounted over the following years. On March 2nd,
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
2006, Belfield was formally charged with the murder of Amélie Delagrange and the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy. On May 25th, 2006, he was also charged with the murder of Marsha McDonnell. The trial took place at the Old Bailey in London. Kate Sheedy, the young woman he had left for dead on that pavement in Isleworth, took the stand and gave evidence against him. Nearly 4 years had
That's extremely brave, isn't it?
passed since the night she was run over, and she stood in a courtroom facing the man who had tried to kill her. On February 25th, 2008, the jury found Belfield guilty of the murders of Marsha
No way, can.
McDonnell and Amélie Delagrange, and the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy. The following day, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order, meaning
That's insane, Tara.
he would never be eligible for parole. Belfield refused to attend his own sentencing, claiming the press coverage against him had been unfair. The judge
What a prick. What a prick. What a coward.
handed down the sentence to an empty dock. Amélie's parents, Jean-François and Dominique Delagrange, had travelled from France for the verdict. The uncle of Marsha McDonnell, Shane, spoke to the press outside the Old Bailey. The families finally had convictions, but those convictions could not return the daughters they had lost. After his 2008 conviction, police turned their attention back to the disappearance of Millie Dowler. Belfield was named as the prime suspect. Investigators examined the CCTV footage of the red Daewoo Nexia seen near
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you.
Walton-on-Thames on the day Millie vanished. In a 2009 interview from prison, Belfield himself acknowledged that he had used that car. His
No way.
ex-girlfriend, Emma Mills, had placed him in the Walton area at the time. She also placed him in the area where Amélie was killed, and identified his familiarity with the woods where Millie's remains were found.
Jesus Christ. It's wild, this case, man.
On March 30th, 2010, Belfield was charged with the kidnapping and murder of Millie Dowler. The investigation into the Dowler case had involved over 3,500 house-to-house inquiries, 1,850 statements, and searches across 350 sites. His trial began on May 10th,
He used to get your auntie, or try and get your auntie to go home with him. Fucking hell. I bet she's glad she never did.
2011, at the Central Criminal Court, before Mr. Justice Wilkie. The prosecution's case rested on circumstantial evidence: Belfield's proximity to the abduction site, the car captured on CCTV, his pattern of targeting lone young women, and testimony from those who knew him. Belfield did not give evidence and denied any involvement.
Thank you for those heartmates, chat.
On June 23, 2011, the jury found him guilty of Millie Dowler's murder. He received a second whole life order. Levi Belfield became the first prisoner in British history to be given 2 whole life orders.
Shit.
The trial itself caused immense pain to the Dowler family. Millie's mother, Sally, told reporters outside the Old Bailey that the family had been forced to hear Millie's name defamed in court, that her daughter had been portrayed as unhappy
Is she I didn't know that.
and depressed, when the Millie they knew was a happy, fun-loving girl. Her father, Bob, said the family had paid too high a price for the conviction, that during their cross-examination by the defence, both he and his wife felt as though they were the ones on trial. Millie's sister, Gemma, described the day her parents were questioned by the defence lawyer as the worst day of her
Catch you later, Spitfire.
life. The pain did not end there. It later emerged that journalists working for the News of the World newspaper had hacked into Millie's mobile phone voicemail while she
That is horrific.
was still missing, and may have deleted messages, which at the time gave the Dowler family false hope that their daughter was still alive and
Fuck me. Who the hell allowed that?
checking her phone. The revelation sparked a nationwide scandal and the newspaper was shut
I didn't know that shit. I didn't fucking know that. Did you guys know that?
down. In January 2016, Surrey police announced that Belfield had finally admitted to
Jesus.
abducting, raping and murdering Millie Dowler. The Dowler family released a statement describing what Belfield told police. He said he had taken Millie to his
Some of you did, some of you didn't.
flat, just yards from the station, assaulted her there, then drove her to his mother's house, where he raped her over the boot of his car
Jesus Christ. Sorry, chap.
in broad daylight. He then moved her to a third location, where the rape and torture continued for hours. The following day, he strangled her.
Yeah, good point. Fucking hell. Thank you, Bex. Pin your comment, Jeannie. We are live on YouTube tonight at 7 o'clock. On a Sunday, I do a series over there, live stream called Going In on a Sunday. Thank you so much, Karen. Where I clap back at people who've been talking about me. So we have 2 creators to clap back tonight. It should be good laugh. So I'll see you at 7 over there, guys. Set your alarms immediately.
Her to death. The family said they felt they needed to speak publicly about the true extent of what Belfield had done, because the
I bet karma, especially after all of that. I bet.
information that had been made public until that point did not reflect the full horror of his actions. Belfield later denied ever making such a confession. Surrey police stood by their original statement. Levi Belfield is currently imprisoned at HMP Frankland, a Category A maximum security prison in County Durham, known informally as Monster Mansion, for the high number of murderers and terrorists held there. He converted to Islam while in prison and took the name Yusuf Rahim. He will never be released. Millie Dowler's parents established a charity called Millie's Fund, dedicated to promoting public safety, especially for children and young people. Marsha MacDonald's family buried their daughter at the Church of St Francis de Sales in Hampton. A memorial bench for Amélie Delagrange sits facing Twickenham Green, on the spot where she was found. Kate Sheedy survived, gave her testimony, and helped put her attacker behind bars. 4 families in England and France had their worlds torn apart by a man who spent his evenings cruising the streets of southwest London in search of young women walking alone. 3 of those women never made it home. The youngest of them was 13 years old, and all she had been trying to do was walk from a cafe to her front door. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this analysis, please
What an absolute beast. Do you know what I mean? Manhunt is worth it, is it?
on to case number 2. Case number 2.
Who the hell's that? Who's this?
On June 17th,
I don't recognise this guy. I recognised, obviously, the first one.
2014, 23
Thank you, Jeannie.
3-year-old Anthony Walgate took a train to Barking Station in East London. He was a fashion student originally from Hull who dreamed of becoming a menswear designer. He sometimes worked as an escort to make money while studying. A few days earlier, he had received a message through a dating site from a man using a fake name,
I don't know this one.
offering him £800 for an overnight stay. Anthony agreed to the booking. He arrived at the station that evening and walked to the man's flat on Cook Street, a ground floor apartment in a residential block just minutes from the centre of Barking. The man who opened the door was Stephen Port, a 40-year-old chef who worked at a bus depot in West Ham. 2 days
Oh, actually, I recognise his face. Yeah.
later, at 4:18 in the morning on June 19th, the emergency services received an anonymous phone call. A male voice said a young boy looked like he had collapsed in the street outside a flat in Barking. When police and paramedics arrived, they found Anthony Walgate dead on the pavement outside Port's front door.
The grinder and the line.
His underpants had been put on back to front and inside out. A small bottle of the drug GHB had been placed in his pocket. He was 23 years old. The anonymous caller was Stephen Port. He had killed Anthony in his flat, left the body there while he went to work,
He does look dead behind the eyes, doesn't he?
come home, dressed the body, dragged it outside, and then dialed 999, pretending to be a stranger
What the fuck?
who had stumbled across a dead man in the street. Stephen Port
Hey, Haley.
was born on February 22nd, 1975, in Southend-on-Sea, Essex. When he was
Really
a year old, his family moved to Dagenham in East London, where he grew up and where his parents still lived at the time of his arrest. He was described by people who knew him as a loner. He was bullied through most of his childhood. Teachers described him as quiet. A neighbour later told investigators that Port had a strange, childlike personality, and that, even as a grown man, he played with children.
That's what I was saying, Mandy. Chat, do you agree with Mandy? His eyes look evil. Dead, evil, weird.
Toys. After leaving school at 16, he trained as a chef and eventually got steady work at the bus depot canteen in West Ham. He lived alone in his flat on Cook Street and spent most of his free time on his laptop, using dating apps and websites to contact young men under different aliases. Port had a fixation with drugging sexual partners. The substance he used was GHB, a powerful sedative commonly known as a date rape drug. In small doses, it acts as a relaxant.
We're watching a video covering all UK serial killers currently in prison.
In larger doses, it causes unconsciousness. In even slightly larger doses than that, it kills. Port had been obtaining GHB through a dealer named Gerald Matovu, who would later be convicted in 2019 of murdering another man using the same drug and similar methods. When police first responded to the discovery of Anthony Walgate's body, Port gave
It's mental.
a witness statement claiming he had come home to find the young man collapsed outside and had tried to wake him before calling for help. Officers soon established that this was a lie. Port had actually hired Walgate as an escort, and the two had been inside the flat together. Port changed his story. He told police that Walgate had brought drugs with him, had taken GHB himself, and had died from an overdose during the night. Port said he panicked and moved the body outside because he was afraid police would think he had murdered him. Officers
This is weird. I do remember this case.
charged Port
Because I remember his face, you know what I mean? It's a face you don't forget.
with perverting the course of justice. They took his DNA. They confiscated his laptop. His death was not treated as suspicious. Port was convicted of the perverting charge in March 2015 and sentenced to 8 months in prison. He was released in June 2015 and fitted with an electronic tag. Between his arrest for perverting the course of justice and his release from that sentence, Port murdered 2 more young men. On August 28, 2014, the body of 22-year-old Gabriel Cavari was found in the churchyard of St Margaret of Antioch in Barking, right next to Port's flat on Cook Street. Gabriel was from Slovakia. He had moved to London, hoping to find work.
So, because they couldn't fully prove that he unalived the first guy, he was able to get back out and go on and do this. Jesus.
As a translator, possibly with the NHS or the Metropolitan Police. He had been staying with a friend named John Pape in London, before briefly moving into Port's spare room as a temporary flatmate. He had lived with
This is nuts.
Port for just 2 days before he was killed. Port drugged him with GHB, raped him, and gave him a fatal overdose.
Jesus.
He then carried Gabriel's body to the churchyard and left it there. Afterwards, Port told his neighbour that Gabriel had died from an infection while travelling in Spain. He also created a fake Facebook profile and sent messages to Gabriel's boyfriend, pretending to be someone else, to distance himself from the death. Gabriel's death was
CJ, I don't know when, to be fair. It may seem like a distant memory.
not treated as suspicious by police. The cause of death was recorded as a
These lads look so young.
GHB overdose.
So young.
No connection was drawn to the death of Anthony Walgate, which had happened just 2 months earlier, yards away, in the same street, involving the same drug. John Pape, the friend Gabriel had been staying with before he moved in with Port, was deeply troubled by what had happened. He searched the internet for other
Don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you follow.
unexplained deaths in the Barking area, and found the case of Anthony Walgate. The similarities were striking. 2 young gay men, both dead from GHB overdoses, both found dumped near the same address. Pape contacted Barking and Dagenham police and demanded to know whether they thought the cases were
Yeah, it can't be a coincidence.
linked.
Fucking hell.
He was told they were not connected and were not being treated as suspicious. He offered to come in for an interview because he believed he had information about Gabriel's last movements. Nobody contacted him. He even asked the news site
Fucking hell.
Pink News to contact police on his behalf. Nothing happened. 3 weeks after Gabriel's body was found on September 20th, 2004.
Very random, but I've been in the Pink News. Very random. When I outed bloody Jade Palmer, there was an article in the Pink News, I believe.
14. The same dog walker who had discovered Gabriel found another body in the same churchyard. It was lying in almost the exact same position. This time it was 21-year-old Daniel Whitworth, a chef from Gravesend in Kent who worked at a restaurant in Canary Wharf. Daniel had been in a long-term relationship with his boyfriend, Ricky Wormsley. He was described by his family as being in a good place, looking forward to starting a new job closer to his grandmother. He had no...
I know it says they're all in their early 20s, but they look younger than that to me. These look like lads who look younger than their age. Is that why this guy's gone after them as well?
History of drug use. His body was found on a bedsheet with
definitely vulnerable lads.
a handwritten note placed in his hand. The note appeared to be a suicide confession. It said that Daniel had accidentally given a fatal dose of GHB to a friend named Gabriel at a party, and that the guilt had driven him to take his own life. The note ended with the line, "Please do not blame the guy I was with last night. We only had sex and then I left. He knows nothing of what I have done." It was signed, "Love always, Daniel P. W." The note was a complete fabrication. Stephen Port had written every word of it.
No way, Red.
Port murdered Daniel Whitworth
Jesus Christ, thank you, Jamie.
and planted the note to make it look like Daniel had killed Gabriel and then committed suicide. In one move, he tried to close the books on 2 deaths. Police took the note at face value.
Yeah, I definitely watched something about this case.
It was not sent to a handwriting expert. No DNA samples were taken from the note, the bedsheet, or the drug bottles found near the body. Daniel's father, Adam Whitworth, was shown a portion of the note and was asked if he could confirm the handwriting was his son's. He told the inquest, years later, that he never confirmed it. He said he told the officer
Police are shit, man.
he could not verify the handwriting
Generally shit.
and that the note contained nothing his son would write. No family names, no personal phrases, and a sign-off Daniel never used. Adam Whitworth said the family liaison officer promised him the note would be analysed by handwriting experts. That analysis never took place. Instead, police compared the note themselves against a sample from Daniel's diary. An inquest recorded an open verdict. Daniel's stepmother Amanda described the investigation as shoddy.
Shoddy? That's a nice way of putting it, isn't it? Fucking hell.
Ricky Wormsley, Daniel's partner, was excluded from the investigation entirely and was not even allowed to see the supposed suicide note until a later inquest, a full year after Daniel's death. Port was convicted of perverting the course of justice for the lies he told about Anthony Walgate and went to prison. He was released in June 2015. 2 months later, he killed again. On September 13th,
I think that might be what I watched, Louise.
2015, the body of 25-year-old
Probably.
Jack Taylor was found in the park adjacent to the same churchyard where Gabriel and Daniel had been discovered.
Another really young-looking lad, you know.
Jack was a forklift truck driver from Dagenham who lived with his parents. His family described him as strongly anti-drugs. He dreamed of becoming a police officer and was regularly drug tested at his job. CCTV footage later showed Jack walking with Stephen Port in what would be the last confirmed sighting of him alive. Port had drugged, raped and killed him with GHB, then carried his body to the park and arranged
Wow.
it in a sitting position, placing a syringe, a tourniquet and a small vial of liquid nearby to make it look like a self-inflicted drug overdose. Police told the Taylor family that Jack had died of a drug overdose and that the case was not suspicious. Jack's sisters Donna and Jenny Taylor refused to accept that explanation. Their brother did not use drugs. It made no sense to them. They started their own investigation, trying to piece together the last hours of Jack's life. Donna and Jenny contacted Barking and Dagenham police 11 days after Jack's death to ask.
It's terrible, isn't it? Like, I don't understand how people can be so cold like this, you know? But we've said, like, that guy just looks so dead behind the eyes, doesn't he? So dead behind the eyes. It's almost like just
Ask for an
looking at him,
update on the
just looking at him, you'd know he was a monster, you know what I mean?
investigation. They were stunned to find out that no investigation was taking place. The Taylor sisters kept pushing. They gathered information and found connections between Jack's death and the other 3 cases. 4 young gay men, all found dead from GHB overdoses, all discovered within walking distance of the same address in Barking, over 16 months. The sisters passed their findings to the police. For a time, they were dismissed. Meanwhile, Gabriel Kavari's friend, John Pape, had continued pressing the case from his end, contacting media outlets and pushing for answers. Eventually,
Good show.
under mounting pressure, police re-examined the deaths. They reviewed CCTV footage and found the image of Jack Taylor walking with Stephen Port. That image linked Port directly to the final victim. Port was arrested on the morning of October 15, 2015, at his flat on Cook Street. During the investigation that followed, his laptop and phone records revealed the full scale of his offending. He had used dating apps to contact
The police absolutely dropped a fucking bollock with this. So many bollocks.
and drug numerous men over a period of years. Several survivors came forward during the media coverage of the arrest and trial, adding 7 charges of rape and 4 charges of sexual assault
Jesus.
to the 4 murder charges Port already faced. Port's trial took place at the Old Bailey in London. He denied all charges. The judge, Mr. Justice Openshaw, noted that each
Unique, thank you.
of the 4 deaths occurred in strikingly similar circumstances. Each victim found in an outside location close to Port's flat, 3 in the churchyard, and 1 in the adjacent park, 3 of the bodies. Positioned in a similar way, Port was the common link in every case. On November 23, 2016,
Afternoon, Jess. For those of you coming in, we're watching a video here about all UK serial killers currently in prison.
the jury found Port guilty of all charges.
Keep tapping that screen, you legends.
He was convicted of 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of rape, 10 counts of administering a substance with intent, and 4 counts of sexual assault. 22 offences in total against 11 men. He was cleared on 3 counts of rape. 2 days later, on November 25th,
Jesus Christ, Danny, I actually needed that. This bloody horse thing is fucking wild. What the hell is that? Thank you so much, Karen. Didn't think I'd say that. Everyone should be sending those to Luke the Judge, shouldn't they? No, I haven't. Tattooed Human, no, I haven't.
Mr. Justice Openshaw sentenced Port to life imprisonment with a whole life order, meaning he will never be released. As the judge delivered the sentence, he told the courtroom
You do? Karen, yes.
that Port had committed the murders in the course of satisfying his lust for young men he had rendered unconscious with drugs. He described the fake suicide note planted on Daniel Whitworth's body as wicked and monstrous. When the sentence was read out, cheers broke out in the public gallery
There's no fucking justice, though, is there really?
from the victims' families. In victim impact statements read to the court, Anthony Walgate's mother, Sarah Sack, said her son's death had devastated and broken the family. Daniel Whitworth's
No bother, it'll be in tonight's live show.
father, Adam, said he had been handed a life sentence.
So if you don't know, guys, tonight on YouTube, 7 o'clock, we go live every Sunday, and it's called Going In on a Sunday, and I respond to people who've been talking about me. And there's 2 people we're focusing on today.
Of grief. Gabriel
No.
Kavari's brother, Adam, spoke about having to tell their mother that her son was dead, saying there is no pain greater than losing a child. The Taylor family said they had truly fallen apart as a result of Jack's murder. One of Port's surviving sexual assault victims, he blamed himself
Jesus Christ. Who said that one? Thank you. Thank you.
for not reporting his attacks sooner, saying that if he had spoken up, he might have been able to prevent Jack.
Do you guys want to know who I'm responding to tonight? Do you guys want to know, do you? Ah, thank you. Thank you for the potatoes, Jeannie. Jeannie, you've gone wild tonight. Don't go too crazy. Thank you so much. Where the hell am I? I'm going to give you a poll, you motherfuckers. I'm just being very slow and not working out how to do the bloody poll. TikTok, you bastard. Right, if you want me to tell you who I'm responding tonight, I need at least 100 of you to press any emoji. At least 100 here. You don't do it, it's not happening.
Jack Taylor's death. In December 2021, a 7-week inquest into the 4 deaths concluded at Barking Town Hall. The jury found that all 4 men had been unlawfully killed, and that failures by the Metropolitan Police probably contributed to the deaths of Gabriel Cavari, Daniel Whitworth and Jack Taylor. Officers
Not probably, it definitely fucking did.
had failed to carry out basic checks on ports in the police national database after the first death. They had
Come on guys, you're still a few short for that vote.
failed to send evidence for forensic examination. They had failed to link 4 deaths that happened within walking distance of each other, all involving GHB, all involving young gay men. The families of the victims said the case should go on public record as one of the most widespread institutional failures.
Okay, so tonight... Fuck me, thank you. Thank you so much. So tonight on YouTube, live at 7 o'clock, our going in on a Sunday, we will be responding to Paranormal Dan, who's apparently been talking about me, and this one's a curveball. I don't think anyone will see this one coming. Brett Boy. That's right, Brett Boy has decided to get a bit of chest, so we'll be we'll be lightly roasting them for their Sunday roast. All right, so that'll be 7 o'clock tonight.
In modern policing.
Yeah, Brett, honestly, he's a fucking divvy. Do you know, I was just scrolling through live streams, right, and he was there climbing on top of one of those arcade toys, you know, that are like in like supermarkets. You know, you put like 20 pence in and they go up and down, or whatever the fuck. And he was standing on top of one of those. And then he was like... And so I was just scrolling my lives, and you know I like a bit of a troll. So I just went, well, that's normal. And then he started getting triggered by me comments. So I just had a bit of a back and forward with him in the comments, and it's quite funny. I actually want to show you one of the things. I'll show you an edit that's going to be in tonight on Brett Boy. He comments on the size of my forehead. Where is it? Where did I send it? There you go. Well, man. Jeannie, you mad bitch. I mean, thank you. I shit myself. Right, let's see. Oh, all my notifications on my phone. Christ, I never check my phone. Right, see if you can hear this.
I think your forehead is normal.
Brett did a bit of friendly fire on himself. Very, very easy to respond to that, dweeb. But yeah, so that's going to be tonight. Don't miss our Sunday lives on YouTube, man. It's always funny. Pammy, there may be a reference to that. There may be.
Sarah Sack, Anthony's mother, said that if the 4 victims had been young women found dead in such close proximity, there would have been an outcry. Deputy Assistant Commissioner Stuart Cundy told the inquest there had been a serious failure of policing, and that Port could have been identified and arrested sooner.
Well, that's fucking nice, but that doesn't stop what's already happened.
One of the 17 officers originally
Oh shit, you guys completed my goal. Thank you so much, Jack.
investigated over their handling of the case faced formal disciplinary action. 5 of them were later promoted. Stephen Port is currently serving his whole life order at HMP Belmarsh, a Category A maximum security prison in southeast London. He appealed his conviction in 2018. The appeal was rejected. He will die in prison. 4 young men, Anthony Walgate, 23, Gabriel Cavari, 22, Daniel Whitworth, 21, and Jack Taylor,
Thank you again for completing that goal, guys. I'll just put a little petty one on now. Thank you so much.
25, were drugged, raped, and killed within
And people who were at fault got promoted.
16 months of each other, their bodies left within yards of the flat where it all happened. 3 of them might still be alive if the first death had been investigated properly. Their families knew something was wrong. They told the police.
Mods, go pin Ashley's comment, please.
The police did not listen, and by the time anyone in authority connected the deaths of 4 men found dead in the same corner of Barking,
He's downstairs with his son.
Stephen Port had already run out of people to kill. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this analysis, please consider
I am.
number 3. 3 days before Christmas, in 1985, flames were seen rising from the direction of Scoveston Park,
I wonder what this one is.
a 3-storey Georgian farmhouse near Milford Haven in Pembrokeshire. By the time fire crews reached the property, the building was engulfed. Firefighters noticed a strong smell of petrol as
Do me a quick favour, guys. If you haven't already, hold the screen and hit the little repost button that comes up. Thank you, chap.
they fought the blaze. Just after midnight, the body of 58-year-old Richard Thomas was recovered from the front of the burning house. He had a wound on the right side of his abdomen. An X-ray confirmed it contained lead shot. He had been killed with a shotgun. His sister, 54-year-old Helen Thomas, was found
Jesus.
hours later on the ground floor, her body so badly burned it was barely recognisable. She had fallen through the collapsed floor of the bedroom above. X-rays revealed
Really
lead particles in the base of her skull. She too had been shot. A length of black knotted rope was found with her body, along with a blood-stained shirt with its sleeves tied together. Helen Thomas had been bound and gagged before she was killed. No shotgun was found at the scene. No spent cartridges. Whoever had done this had taken the weapon and the shells with them, and then poured accelerant through the rooms to burn the house down around the bodies. Police put more than 100 officers on the case. A door-to-door inquiry was carried out across the area. One of the homes visited belonged to a local man named John Cooper, who lived with his family not far from the manor. Cooper and his family all provided alibis. His young son, who Cooper had told to lie, backed up the story. The investigation went cold. Nobody was charged. The Scoveston Park double murder became the first major unsolved case to haunt the Pembrokeshire countryside. John William Cooper was born on September 3rd, 1940.
I don't know if I've heard about this case, chat. Have you guys heard about it?
44. He grew up in and around Milford Haven, a small town on the Pembrokeshire coast in southwest Wales.
I don't remember this one. Chat, will you give us a second? I'm just going to go downstairs. I need to go to the toilet because I'm an old man with a tiny bladder. If you need to have a quick toilet break, go and do it. I won't be long, guys. We are watching a video about all UK serial killers. Right, I'll be back 1 second, chat. 1 second. Guys, I want you to put your favourite emojis in the chat while I'm gone. Or see if you can make something funny with your emojis here. Pin them. Let's get back into it.
He worked as a farm labourer and knew the local landscape well. The fields, the hedgerows, the coastal paths, the isolated farmhouses that sat in the countryside around the town. He married a woman named Patricia in 1966, and the couple had 2 children. To the outside world, Cooper presented himself as a friendly, ordinary family man. Behind closed doors, his son would later describe a controlling, violent figure who terrorised his own household. In 1978, Cooper won £90,000 and a £4,000 car in a newspaper Spot the Ball competition. It was a huge amount of money at the time, worth more than £500,000 in today's terms. It did not last. Cooper developed a serious gambling and drinking habit. A friend later said the money went to his head, that he spent most of it in pubs and bookmakers, and that as his cash dried up, he
fucking won a load of money as well.
started stealing. By 1983, Cooper had begun carrying out burglaries across the Pembrokeshire countryside, targeting isolated rural properties where he knew the layout of the land. The murders of Richard and Helen Thomas at Scoveston Park on December 22nd, 1985, bore the marks of a burglary that had turned savage. Cooper.
Does anybody remember that Spot the Ball competition? My granddad always used to play that. I remember, I'm sure, my dad's dad. Or somebody, or was it my great uncle George? It was somebody, and he used to have to try and put a little thing where he thought the ball was in a picture of a football game or something. Fucking ridiculous. I don't know, asked me. Do you know what I mean? Bloody, where do you think, James? Fucking hell. I know about as much about football now as I did then. I bet some of my guesses were horrific.
Knew the area well. Prosecutors would later argue that he had broken into the farmhouse expecting to find Helen alone. When Richard returned home and surprised him, Cooper shot him in the stomach and the head. Helen had already been tied up. She was shot in the
What was the pools?
head
Sorry.
at close range. Cooper then doused the property in fuel and set it on fire to destroy any evidence of what he had done. The investigation that followed was one of the largest in Dyfed-Powys police history. But without advanced forensic tools and with the crime scene heavily damaged by the fire, detectives were unable to make an arrest. The case remained open but unsolved. 3.5 years
This case here, I don't remember about this at all, but it seems like this guy got away with it for a long time.
passed. On May 28, 1989, John Cooper appeared as a contestant on Bullseye, a popular ITV game show hosted by comedian
Now I know what this one is. He turned up on fucking Bullseye, didn't he?
Jim Bowen. During the show,
Yeah.
Bowen asked Cooper about his hobbies. Cooper talked about scuba diving along the Pembrokeshire coastline. He described the deep water and the beauty of the area in detail. He was filmed with a mullet hairstyle
Afternoon stars.
and a moustache, smiling and chatting on primetime television. He did not win the top prize that night. He gambled his winnings during the show and lost everything. Exactly 1 month later, he murdered 2 more people.
Okay.
Peter Dixon was 51 years old. He was a marketing manager and marathon runner from Witney in Oxfordshire.
Were you, Joel? Joel, sorry. Small world.
His wife Gwenda was 52, a secretary and badminton player. Every summer
Yes, we are going through British serial killers here, yeah. Apparently this video contains every serial killer from the UK that's currently in jail.
for nearly 2 decades, the couple had taken their holiday in Pembrokeshire, staying at the Howlston Farm caravan park near the village of Littlehaven. In the summer of 1989, their son Tim had joined them for part of the trip, before heading home on June 27th.
And tonight on YouTube at 7 o'clock, we have our normal live stream on YouTube called Going In on a Sunday, where I clap back at creators who've been talking about me, and tonight's going to be a funny one. It's going to be a funny one, trust me.
Their daughter Julie, who had just turned 18, was on holiday in Cyprus with a friend, instead of joining the family that year. June 29th was Peter and Gwenda's last day at the campsite. They told neighbours on the site they were going for one final walk along the coastal path before driving back to Oxfordshire. They never came back. On July 3rd, Tim Dixon and his sister Julie went to their parents' house and found it empty. Their mother and father had not returned from holiday. Tim phoned the manager of the caravan park in Pembrokeshire. Police were alerted. Search teams, dog handlers and a helicopter scoured the coastline. On July 5th, a police dog handler detected a strong smell and swarms of flies near the cliff edge, on a stretch of the path between Littlehaven and Borough Head. The decomposing bodies of Peter and Gwenda Dixon were found in dense undergrowth, partially hidden under broken branches and vegetation that had been deliberately placed over them. Peter Dixon had been shot 3 times, including once in the head. Gwenda
Jesus.
Dixon had been shot twice at close range. Cooper had reloaded his sawn-off shotgun at least twice during the attack. Peter's hands had been tied behind his back with rope. Gwenda's clothing had been disturbed.
This guy's nuts. I don't know how this guy got away with it for so long. There's been a couple of them now who've got away with it and then re-offended.
She had been sexually assaulted. The contents of the couple's rucksack had been scattered across the scene.
Shit.
Peter's wallet was missing. His gold wedding ring had been taken from his finger. Cooper had forced Peter to hand over his bank card and reveal his PIN number before killing him. In the days after the murders, Peter Dixon's stolen card was used at cash points in Pembroke, Carmarthen and Haverfordwest. A total of £310 was withdrawn. Cooper also sold Gwenda's wedding ring for £25 on the day the bodies were found. He had stripped them of everything of value and then left them on a cliff top to rot. CCTV cameras at the cash points captured footage of a man using the card. Police produced a sketch from this footage that became known as the Wild Man image because of the suspect's unkempt appearance. More than 100 officers worked the case. The BBC's Crime Watch programme ran
Yeah, I know, right?
an appeal that
Served a sentence, then another.
generated over 1,700 calls. Despite all of this, the investigation failed to produce enough evidence to charge anyone. The Pembrokeshire
Fuck off.
Coastal
No
Path
way.
murders joined the Scoverston Park case as one of Wales's most notorious unsolved crimes. 7 years later, in March 1996, Cooper committed another attack. 5 teenagers were walking through a wooded area behind the Mount Estate in Milford Haven when a man wearing a balaclava and carrying a sawn-off shotgun confronted them. He forced the group to lie face down on the ground, demanded money,
Jesus Christ. How many times has he done this?
then
How ma-
raped a 16-year-old girl and sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl while the others were held at gunpoint. The
Not only is a murderer, he's also a PDF.
attacker was John Cooper. By 1998, police had linked Cooper to a wave of burglaries and violent break-ins
Jesus
across the
Christ.
Pembrokeshire countryside through an operation
It does get worse and worse.
called Huntsman. Officers searched his property over 17 days and recovered 3,800 items connected to the crimes. When detectives mapped out the locations of the burglaries, they formed a radius around Cooper's home in the village of Jordenston, near Milford Haven. While in custody, he was questioned about the Thomas and Dixon murders.
Guys, while you're watching, let's keep tapping that screen. Let's see if we can get to 100k likes.
He denied everything. Without the forensic tools to tie him directly to the killings, police could only prosecute him for what they could prove. Cooper was convicted of 30 burglaries and a violent armed robbery and sentenced to 14 years in prison. He was released in January 2009. It was while Cooper was still behind bars that Detective Superintendent Steve Wilkins of Dyfed-Powys Police reopened the Thomas and Dixon murder cases in 2006 under a cold case review called Operation Ottawa. Wilkins had a narrow window. Cooper was approaching his release date, and if the police could not build a case before he walked free, a man Wilkins believed had murdered 4 people would be back on the streets of Pembrokeshire. Wilkins
Wow.
brought in
There's been so many police failures across the
forensic scientist
It's been insane.
Dr. Angela Gallup and her team to re-examine all the physical evidence that had been carefully preserved for over 2 decades. The forensic work that followed broke the case open. Gallup
Guys, do me a favour, put your favourite colour in the chat. The chat seems to have gone absolutely dead. Waking you all up a little bit.
team began by examining the rope used to bind Peter Dixon's hands, his belt, Gwenda's disturbed clothing, and swabs taken from the bodies. The initial DNA results
Is grey a colour? I mean, I rate it.
were inconclusive, so they widened the search to textile fibres. Blue acrylic fibres were found on the branches used to hide the bodies, and on Peter Dixon's belt, suggesting the killer had been wearing gloves.
No, it's alright. I know on streams like this, you guys probably put me down on a bench. Get on with some other job.
Then came the critical
Yeah, look at you, peeling veg, people drawing dragons. I mean, that's pretty cool, but still. I don't want to know. I don't know if I just heard something there.
discovery. A pair of khaki shorts had been seized from Cooper's bedroom during the 1998 burglary investigation. His wife Patricia had handed them to police without knowing what they contained. When Gallup's team examined adhesive tape lifted from the shorts, they
I appreciate all you tappers.
found a tiny flake of blood. DNA testing matched it to Peter Dixon. Further testing revealed something even more revealing. DNA
Does broccoli time mean smoking the devil's lettuce? Or does it mean that you're actually eating broccoli? Because I like broccoli. But I think you'll think I mean something else.
belonging to Peter Dixon's daughter, Julie, was trapped in the
I just like broccoli.
seam of the shorts. Julie had been in Cyprus at the time of her parents' murder. The only way her DNA could have ended up in those shorts was if the shorts had originally belonged to the Dixon family. Cooper
Like, I genuinely love broccoli. I can't believe broccoli is not is not legal. No, I'm I eat the legal broccoli. I was going to say quite often. I definitely fucking don't. I think it means the other thing, doesn't it?
had taken them from the rucksack at the crime scene and swapped them for his own blood-stained pair. A sawn-off shotgun connected to Cooper had been found in a hedgerow during the original burglary investigation. The weapon had been painted over after the murders, but forensic examination revealed blood beneath the paint. DNA testing matched it to Peter Dixon. Ballistics analysis linked the same gun to both double murders, the Thomas killings in 1985 and the Dixon killings in 1980.
We don't have a deep dive tonight, Errol. Tonight we have our weekly live stream on YouTube where I clap back at anybody who's been talking about me. And this week it'll be on Brett Boy and Paranormal Dan, who for some reason both have decided to let their chops move.
89. Fibre evidence then connected Cooper to the 1996 attack on the teenagers. Fibres from a balaclava linked to Cooper
This fucker got away with it for far too long.
were found on the inside of one of the girls' clothing. Fibres had transferred in both directions, from the gloves to the victims and from the victims to the gloves, placing Cooper in direct physical contact with the girls during the assault. Then Wilkins turned to the bullseye footage. The episode had been recorded on May 28, 1989, exactly 1 month before the Dixon murders. When detectives compared Cooper's appearance on the show to the police sketch produced from the Cashpoint footage in 1980,
I mean, let's face it, Paranormal Dan should see it coming, so he should know what I'm going to talk about anyway.
89, the match was striking. Cooper's face, his build, his hairstyle, it all lined up with the wild man image that had been circulated to the public 2 decades earlier. Wilkins would later write that in 30 years of policing, he had never seen as close a match between an artist's impression and a real person. Cooper was arrested on May 13, 2009, just months after his release from prison. The investigation had been a race against time, and detectives had won it. His trial began at Swansea Crown Court in March 2011. He was charged with 4 counts of murder, the rape and sexual assault of the 2 teenage girls, and attempted robbery. The trial lasted 9 weeks.
That's what I'm saying, when you find out that they've committed that many crimes stacked up against each other, how is there any justice? Even if they get like a full life term or whatever, is that justice really?
Cooper denied all charges. His son Andrew testified against him via video link, telling the jury
Barbara will not be making an appearance. Barbara's retired. Alright, Belden. Rude.
that his father used to go out on long walks at night with a shotgun hidden inside his coat. The 2 women who had been attacked as teenagers in 1996 gave evidence about how Cooper had terrified them and changed their lives. Cooper attempted to blame his own son for the murders. At one point during the trial, while the judge was describing the fear Cooper's victims must have felt, Cooper interrupted with an outburst, shouting that the evidence was rubbish and that the jury had been on the internet. Mr. Justice John Griffith Williams
My son's gone to the shop. I think the dog's all mental. I'm going to come off now anyway. I'm going to come off. I was just going to chill with you guys for a bit. I will be on YouTube tonight at 7 o'clock. YouTube tonight, 7 o'clock. Clapping back at some of those people who've talked shit about me. If you've sent anything today, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And I will see you on YouTube tonight. Don't forget, YouTube is the Fact Freak. Catch you later, chat. Bye, guys.